Welcome to the 16th video in this series making a swarm shooter 2D with C++ and Raylib. In this video, we're going to make a proper game loop. That means we start playing the game, we keep fighting until we've died, and then we can restart the game, and we're going to have automatic spawning waves that get progressively more difficult. Before we get started with this one, a quick heads up, there's quite a bit more to do than there has been in the previous few videos on this series. Bearing that in mind, please make sure you're feeling pretty refreshed for this one, otherwise it's probably going to be quite a slog. In terms of the code that we're writing, there is quite a bit, so I'm actually going to be pasting most of this in rather than typing it. Obviously, if you want to type it all out, you can always pause the video, but I really want to focus more on the explanations of what's going on here than you watching me fumble typing out some code on the screen. If you do need the code, as ever, you'll find it on GitHub. It'll be under branch part 16 in this case. So with that said then, let's make a start. So the first thing we'll do is we'll get a game over popping up on the screen when the player has died. To do this, we need to know whether the player has died. So let's go into the player.hpp. And below the get max health here, what we'll do is add in a function called isDead, returning a boolean. That simply returns whether the health is less than or equal to 0, and obviously then it's true when the player has died. We can use this then to switch ourselves into game over rather than the game actually playing. So let's go back into the main.cpp. Okay, so what we're going to do then is build up our game loop. Before we do that, a quick disclaimer here. I'm well aware, as you probably are, that the code inside our loop here is starting to become a little bit unwieldy and spaghetti looking, and certainly a little bit ugly, I would say. We're going to carry on for this video working in it because I'd like to get to the point where we have the sort of game loop complete, where we can play through waves of enemies. When we die, the game is over and we can restart, and so on. Once we've got all that in this video, from the next video, you'll see that we're going to start building something called the game class, and then we'll break everything down into input handling, into drawing, into updating, and so on. So this is going to get a little bit bitty for this video. Please bear with me. We'll start cleaning it all up once we have the main structure in place, and this is the last video to get that main game skeleton done. Then all the rest later on with particle effects, sound, other enemies, and things like that, we can add all of those into the new structure. So with my excuses out of the way, let's go up to the top of the file here, and we'll add in a game state enumerated constant. And then down at the beginning of here, what we can do is we can say that we have a game state, which is a variable here, and we're going to initially be in the playing state. And now comes the slightly tricky part. You need to be a little bit careful with this one. What we're going to do is we're going to basically gate, according to what state we're in, which part of this actually runs. So below the dt get frame time here, what we'll do is put an if in here, and all the code that belongs to the block of this if is going to be run when the game is playing. So that's going to be from the shoot here, all the way down here, to where we have the enemies and also the camera actually as well. So I'm going to select all of that, cut it, close my eyes and take a deep breath, then put the cursor back here and paste that all inside the if here. And in my case, do Shift Alt and F just to auto format the code there. So we have a big if statement here, and if we're playing, we're going to do the shoot, the update of the player bullets, the enemies, we're going to do the bullets here, the enemy here, and then retarget the camera. Now what we can do right at the end of this is we can check whether the player is dead. If the player is dead, we'll change the state now to game over. So with just that done, let's run the application, and we should now find that when we've died, we're no longer able to move around because all of that is contained inside the if clause. So I've lost a life, lost another life, and lost the final one, and yet I can't move or anything like that. I'm still flashing, don't worry about that. The main thing here is I can't move. So I'm going to press Q to close that down and close down the terminal. Now let's do the game over display. So for now, that's going to be basically a dark background with some text on top of it saying game over, and press R to restart. Now we want to draw this, and we'll do this after we've drawn everything else on the screen. So we'll do this down here before the end texture mode. So here we're going to ask, is the game state game over? And if it is, the first thing we'll do is we'll draw a rectangle on the screen that's going to fill the screen and be a slightly transparent black. Then we'll draw game over in the middle of the screen. So to do that, we'll make a constant car pointer title, game over. And to get it in the middle of the screen, we need to know how wide it is. And luckily in Raylib, there's a function to calculate how wide a piece of text is. And that's called measure text. And measure text uses the default font for this. So it's going to measure in the default font, which we're using at the font size 60 in this case, how wide this is. This allows us then to use the draw text, just like we have here. So then we can use the draw text function, just as we have up here, to draw our title. Then the position is going to be in the X, the width minus the title width divided by 2. And then this is just off the middle of the screen, a little bit higher, font size 60 and red text. Then we'll put another one in here before we take a look at and try to admire this. This one we're going to have a prompt, which is press R to restart. Here we're also going to measure text as well. So I'll make another integer, except call this one prompt width. And we're going to be measuring the prompt. The size for this one can be much smaller. I would say we'll do, say, 32. And then I'll copy that one from here and paste it down. So the color of this can be array white. The font size is 32. And then we want the prompt width and the prompt itself in here. Okay, I think that's okay. It's always dangerous copy and pasting. I might have made an error there. And if I have, then you for sure will have seen it. But if we go and run the application now, hopefully now when we die, we should see this screen pop up. So one death, I should actually just put one life really. Another death. And now the final death And there we go. We've got press R to restart, which is over the game over, isn't it? Which isn't very good. So I'm going to press Q to close that down. Why is it? Because I left this in here. Whoops. So I'm going to do a plus on here, then maybe plus 12 here. And while we're at it, actually, let's go to, where's the game config? Is this where we set the player max health? Yes, I'm going to set that actually to 1 just for now. Then press F5 to run the application. Hopefully the label is now down a little bit lower. Okay, so we die, and that's much better. Game over, and press R to restart. Cool. So I'll press Q to close that down, close down the terminal. So now we want to be able to restart. To do that, we need to be able to reset the player. So let's go to the player.hpp, and we'll add a public methods, and we'll put that above the hit, I think. That's going to be called reset. Let's then go into the implementation of the player. Then up above here, I'll put this, where should we put this? I'll put this below the constructor here. We can put the implementation of the reset. That's going to set the health to be equal to the max health. And the invincibility timer is going to be equal to 0.0f. Then let's drop over to our bullet manager here, because we don't have a function on here to be able to deactivate everything. On the enemy manager, we have one. If we go and open that up, we can see that we have a deactivate all here, but we don't have one on the bullet. So I'm going to copy that from there, close that down. And the bullet manager, above the get pull total, we can put a deactivate all. And let's drop into the implementation here. And above the updates, we'll do bullet manager deactivate all. Then we can iterate through our pull and deactivate each of our bullets. So when the game is over now, we're also able to grab hold of this and deactivate everything. Okay then, so let's go back to the main CPP and see now if we can restart the game by pressing the R key when the game is over. As we journey through all of this code in here. So where are we? Let's have a look. We have quit, escape, F1, L, that's to spawn a batch. And we can do this below the L, I think, can't we? So we're going to say if the game state is game over and we've pressed the R key to restart, then we'll reset our player. We'll set our player's position to be in the center of the map. We get hold of our bullets and deactivate all. We get hold of our enemies and deactivate all. And finally, last but not least, we can set the game state to game state playing. So that should now be working with the restart, I say with ill-deserved confidence. So let's run this and let's die. And it's game over. Can I press R to restart? Yes, I can. Good. We've restarted. We don't have any enemy though, or anything like that. And that's because we have to manually spawn. So I can manually spawn here and then die. And then we get the R to restart. Cool. So again, manually respawn. Here they all come. There they are. And again, die. And yes, that seems to be working. Excellent. Cool. So press Q to close that down. Hopefully it's working for you. So that's our game loop working. The player can play, can shoot and kill enemies, but we're managing the spawning of the waves pressing the L key, which isn't very good. The way the game itself is supposed to work is we spawn enemies of increasing difficulty. Basically, we increase the number of enemies that are spawned each wave. Later on, we'll do some tweaks like increase the speeds and things like that. For now, though, it'll simply be more enemies each time a wave spawns. So let's go into our game config. And in the game config here, I'm going to make a new comment here, actually, and call this waves. Inside here, we'll add in a couple of constants. We'll add in the enemy wave base. That's going to be the starting number of enemies in the first wave. And then we'll put a ramp here as well. And this is the increase that we're going to get each time. Now, later on, we might do this differently. We might do sort of a percentage increase, but for now, we'll just keep these whole numbers. It's a little bit easier, I think, to manage when we're first building this. So each time we spawn a wave, we're effectively going to do the base number plus the ramp number. So initially, we'll get 12 in the first wave. Then the following wave, we'll get 4 more and so on. So let's make use of these then in the main.cpp. So I'll go to the main.cpp, and then just before the while loop, we'll do this above the enemies. Actually, we can say that we have wave number 1 to start with. And rather than spawning one enemy, what we can do here is actually spawn a batch of enemies. So I'll replace this then with a spawn batch, and that'll be our config of our enemy base plus our enemy ramp multiplied by the wave. So we'll initially put 12 enemies in there when the game starts. Then further down here, we want to do the same thing inside here. So I'm going to take this, copy that, and then drop that in here. Except before that, we need to increase the wave. And to make sure that this is working, what we can do is go down to the HUD, where are you? Somewhere all the way down the bottom here. And we'll put WV for wave and a percentage %D, and then we can put the wave on here. So let's press 5 to give that a whirl. We should immediately have 12 enemies in the game. And we've got one there, and we've got 12 in total. So I'm going to quickly speed these up and just kill these. Okay, so there are 0 enemies left. Everything's been killed, and that was wave 1. So I'm going to press L now to go to wave 2, and we should end up with 16 enemies. And yep, I can see the counter going up to 16. Excellent. So I'm going to speed it again, do one more wave to check, assuming I don't die, of course. Okay, so that's the last enemy killed. I've got 16 enemies. I'm going to try once more. So L again, and let's see what happens. Do we have 20 of them? Yes, we do. So we're on wave 3 with 20 enemies. Excellent. So I'll press Q to close that down and to close down the terminal. Now, instead of us pressing the L key to spawn, it would be better if the game knew that a wave was complete and then automatically spawned the next wave inside here. To do that, we need to know whether a batch is complete or not. So let's go to the enemy manager.hpp, and below the deactivate all, we'll add ourselves a function here. It's going to return a boolean. That's going to be is batch complete. And that'll return whether the batch remaining is equal to 0 and the number alive is 0. If that's the case, then we're ready to spawn a new wave. So we'll go back into the main.cpp. Then instead of this, we want the enemies.isBatchComplete, And if it is, then we spawn another wave. So if we press 5 then to run the application, hopefully now we should be able to kill the first wave of enemies. Automatically, the second wave comes in. So I'll speed this up and try and kill these. Okay, so we're down to the final couple of enemies here. So I'm going to kill this one. I don't know where the other one is. It says there's one left somewhere. I'm just not sure. Oh, there it is. Okay, so kill this one and let's see if we get another wave. Yeah, we do. We get another wave automatically and it's a bigger wave this time. Excellent. So I press Q to close that down and close down the terminal. So now we have just one more problem and then we've completed the complete game loop. At the moment, the problem is when we press the R key to restart the game, we're not resetting the wave. So we'll get hold of our wave here and we'll set that then to be equal to 1. What we immediately want to do here then is we want to also spawn a batch of enemies. So we'll grab this line from here and paste that in here. And that should leave us now with the game loop complete. And with that done, we've completed basically the whole game loop. So we land into the game, we start it with a wave. The waves keep increasing in difficulty the more that we kill the waves. And then when we've died, we get a game over screen with a restart and we can restart from wave 1. Now in the final game, things will be a little bit different. So we're going to have a pause between the waves. We're also going to have a main screen and a couple of other things as well, like a mini map and so on. But all of that's coming later on. But the actual sort of skeleton of the game is now complete, which is really good. With that said, I think that's a good place to end this particular video. We've done a lot there. What we're going to do in the next one is nothing in terms of the gameplay, actually. We'll end up with what we can see on the screen here. The difference being is we're going to start this restructuring. So we're going to start tearing everything out of the main, building a game class, and attempting to make the code a little bit more sensible and manageable than it is. So thanks very much for watching this one. Comments and questions welcome as always on YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.